there everybody, guess what? It's time for another Life DowLow'ed live. I am here with my crazy long lockdown hair. And as always, I am joined from Casa de Edge, but she's not here, she's somewhere else. But I am joined by my lovely podcast / Periscope / Twittercast wife, the amazing Samantha Rink. Say hi, Sam.
Hello, everybody. I am here clutching onto my cup of tea because I'm not awake yet. Not awake, but I hear that we've already had quite a lot of hellos.
People are already saying
hello,
hi
everyone.
in the comments. Hi.
We are actually on Samantha's nipple slip watch today because I stupidly decided to wear this little number. I found it. I think I bought it when I was like 17 in like the south of France because I was trying to be cool and like a hippie, and I dug it out because I'm as some of you might know, I'm shielding at my mother's house, and it's really great. Like I've been finding loads of little gems that all my Buffy memorabilia.
I have seen your Buffy memorabilia on Instagram.
Totally, all the cats crying, and I found this, and I was like, I'm going to wear it today because I've got a really nice tan, and my hair's all cute. But yeah, it's probably not the best. I can already feel it slipping, so you might get more than you bargained for today, everybody. But hey,
I mean, this show always carries adult themes, but that's something completely different.
I know, right? What you gonna do? So what episode are we on?
This is our 20th episode of the podcast overall. It's not our 20th live edition, obviously, because we've only been doing that since lockdown, but overall, this is our 20th episode. And I don't know if you can hear that, but in true Life DowLow'ed fashion, I've got building work going on outside.
Oh my goodness, so you've swapped. So anyone who is new to Life DowLow'ed, first of all, welcome. Second of all, yes, we are quite crude and we just say what goes on in our heads, which can be fun, but sometimes a bit worrying. But normally we are at my home in Shoreditch in East London. We've got a nice little flat there. And Dan, God bless him, he always comes to me very gentlemanly because I'm so lazy and I just want to stay in my pajamas. But yeah, normally I've got like building work galore going on, and it's been like that for 2 years. So it's only fair that you now take the brunt. But I do have Lola, who is here around my feet, which is my cat, who normally I lock out when we're at my house. But that's kind of gone. That's just like gone out the window now.
That's gone by the by.
Cat jumps and everything goes kaput. We're just going to have to live with it.
Yeah, cats bring technical issues, apparently. And so does my iPad making noise, which it shouldn't be doing, so I'm going to turn that down.
Well, I just say that we're normally a little bit more professional than this. Are we, though?
We are. Generally, I think we are. Generally, I think we are.
When we first started Life DowLow'ed, I would sit there and produce our kind of, not our scripts, what we want to chat about, our topics. So I would print them out and I would hand them to Dan, and we had water bottles and we had biscuits, and it was, we had talking points, and it was all there. It was professional. Now look what's happened to us.
Yeah,
I've barely got any clothes on. You've got technical issues.
Yeah.
I've got a cat meowing.
Yeah.
It's all gone in the bin.
It's all gone a bit pop. But the fact is, we're live, so what can you expect? See, we could have been like this all the way through, and I just edited it all out, and we're live now, so that's not possible. But
I quite like it. Authenticity all the way. So we are still in lockdown. I know a lot of people are. Some people think that life has gone back to normal, as I've been looking. Looking at on the news with all the people going to beaches and things like that. That's something we can definitely talk about a little bit later. Myself and Dan are in the high risk, vulnerable, although we're not vulnerable, category. I know that the UK government said, was it last Monday or this Monday? It was this Monday. They announced
all the days, like most people.
I don't know. I don't even know my name.
Are we in 2021 yet? I don't even know.
I don't know. Anyway, they recently said that people who have been shielding, so that means no going to the shops, no going,
anywhere,
for
really.
a run
Yeah.
staying where you are. We are now allowed to kind of meet up with one person, and I know that that news came as a little bit of a shock to some people. I know that I definitely thought that's not going to happen personally, and I don't know. There was real mixed feelings about it, and understandably, a lot of people within the disability community, of whom many are shielding, um, just felt a little bit like, I don't know whether you agree, Dan. They just felt a little bit like the government or society in general had gone, oh shit, we forgot about them people. Do you remember them people, like the old people and like the disabled people? We forgot about them because we told them like not to go anywhere 12 weeks ago. We better say something. Did
Well,
you get that sense?
do you know, like, my own political allegiances aside, I think generally the government, and I'm being very polite right now, is a bit fly by night right now. They're flying by the seat of their pants a little bit, and I think what annoyed people and shocked people more than anything, apart from the fact that, you know, the announcement was before anybody really planned on anything or doing anything, is the fact that, you know, this wasn't even at one of the daily press conference briefings. This was slipped out at 10 o'clock on a Saturday night when nobody was really paying attention. So I agree with you. It's definitely the case of, oh God, we haven't done anything. But what makes it even more controversial is the fact that they've done this after 10 weeks when we were all supposed to be shielding for 12 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all just a bit messed up, really. And, you know, I could get onto a political debate for hours on end and get a bit ranty, and I have got a bit ranty. Anybody that follows me on Twitter will realise how ranty I have become. I think it's just because I need an outlet.
Of course. And we're all guilty of that right now, though, aren't we? No, but
Indeed.
I completely get what you're saying, and I think that my advice to people, regardless of what they think the politicians or whoever should have, done more, I think what's quite reassuring is, particularly when you've lived with a chronic condition or a disability for a number of years or from birth, you know your body inside out. Like, you know what's good for you. I mean,
exactly.
we both have stories where we've either gone to a doctor's or GP, and they, bless them, they've not really known what's best, or they've kind of suggested something, or misdiagnosed something. That is not to kind of say horrible things about the NHS staff, but it's true. I've got broken bones. I've had many broken a bone, and the doctors will not even X-ray me because they don't think it's broken. And I've insisted. I'm like, mate, I'm telling you, it's in two pieces. I can feel it. I can feel it flopping around in it like a fish. My arm is broken. And then they've eventually, X-rayed it, and they're like, oh my goodness, did you know that you had a broken bone? I'm like, well, yeah. And I think that we need to stick to that. We need to be reassured that we know what's best for us. Okay, look, I appreciate if you've got, dependents, if you've got children that need to go back to school, that's whole, like, I empathize with you. I sympathize with you. That must be really challenging. If you've got to go back to work and your bosses are now saying, well, the government says you can go out and about, so why aren't you doing it? I can imagine that must just be so stressful and unnecessary. I think what I would say is, we definitely have a good enough ground to say that we can work a lot from home now, which has been proven. So anyone that feels like they're pressured, who are high risk and they feel like they're pressured to go back to quote unquote normality, whatever that means, I think you should hold your ground. I think you should trust your instinct. You know your body, you know what's right for you. You know whether you could limit the contact that you come into. So definitely be firm with that. I think you need to set some ground rules and say to people, no, I'm really quite scared, because let's face it, we have been seeing hordes and hordes of people, what it looks like to me, just completely going back to how they lived before with absolutely no regard for other people. That's what it feels like to me. I've not spoken to them individually, and that's terrifying for someone like myself.
And I mean, what makes it all the more problematic for those of you that aren't aware and aren't following politics like a hawk, like I am right now.
That's why I don't have to, because I just get it from you, Dan.
Yeah,
I'm the beauty, you're the brains.
Well, you are beautiful, it's true, but and you are very intelligent too. Let's not throw that away. You know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But
when I'm on the Prozac, I do. That was a joke.
But I mean, for example, the government are trying to push through the fact that members of Parliament need to go back to work in the Houses of Parliament.
Oh my goodness.
And they are having this argument themselves. They have the virtual voting process. They have all of this to the point that yesterday they had to stand in a queue that was 1 kilometre long to vote.
I mean, what is their reasoning? Is it just pure, I've got to broom up my bottom and this is how we've done it for eons and we don't like change? Is that what they're saying?
I think partly. If I'm being a little bit of a cynic, it's also a case of the Tory government are feeling a little bit out of place because Boris Johnson isn't that great without an audience. That's my personal opinion. You may disagree with it. You're more than welcome to. But, there are now MPs that are shielding that literally cannot vote for their constituents because they cannot get back to the House of Commons.
Yeah, I mean, there's a number of, like Baroness Thomas, there's a number of disabled MPs that are shielding, and once again, their needs are definitely put to the back of the queue. I mean, another gleaming example, and you say that you're getting political on Twitter. Well, I'm getting political on Twitter, but for a different reason, and that is the whole stopping vehicles in major cities,
yes.
which is for quite some time now, with the kind of awareness of climate change, which is everything everyone should be definitely taken seriously. But I think at the moment, because we are still trying to promote social distancing, there's been a push for less cars on the road and more people to walk or use bicycles instead of public transport or vehicles. But once again, disabled people are just not being consulted. No. I know. I mean, I'm shielding at my mum's. I want to stay here at least for till the end of June. We've kind of made that agreement, which I genuinely now have gotten into a routine. Yes, I am missing people, but things could be a lot worse. I'm able to work still quite steadily. It's quite nice. My mum feeding me constantly. I'm putting on weight. It's great. I feel like I'm at a hotel. But no, I am scared about going back to London because I know particularly my building, there are a number of elderly residents and there are at least 3 more wheelchair users.
Check your diverse building out.
I know, right? It's like, hey, here we are. Few and far between. But, it's a real concern. Like, I really do want to get back to my life in London. Although it's been nice being back home and it's nice spending time with my mother, I never thought I'd say that. No, I'm joking. She's like my best friend. It's been lovely, but I am 34 and I've been living in London for 8 years, and it's nice to have that routine back again. And also, my cat is getting really, really diva-ish here. I know she was a diva beforehand, but the house here is so beautiful. There's a big conservatory and there's a massive garden that I've been able to let her out. So it's very different to my 1-bedroom flat in London. So the longest she stays here, can you imagine, Dan?
Well,
it's got to be a nightmare.
They say that, cats are like their owners, don't they? No. No.
What are you trying to insinuate there?
Well, you said your cat was a diva, my dear. That's...
I don't know. But what it says on my mug. Sparkle shine.
Sparkle shine dream. But no, in all seriousness, no, I appreciate that because, Lola, when you're in London, is very much a house cat. and she's been
And now
around.
she had a smell for the wild.
Indeed.
You can smell them little mice and the birds. She wants to be free. No, but in all seriousness, I think it has dawned on me that going back home is going to be a challenge, not only because of these proposed kind of restrictions, which I must admit they are just proposed. I think I'm never going to stand in the way of making the world a safer, greener, happier place.
No.
But I think disabled people need to be brought in the conversation because actually we can come up with really amazing solutions. We think on our feet, no pun intended. Day in, day out. We have very much a risk assessment kind of mind. So we would actually be an asset to bring into any kind of initiative that will shape up how we organize society. But not only that, I am worried about, even now that I've been around my mum and my stepdad having those, kind of times alone. I'm very comfortable in my own company, but I suppose I am getting, I don't know, I feel the pressure. And I know a lot of people have actually become quite comfortable in lockdown, ironically. And I get it. I actually get it. I always say that, I don't know whether you feel the same. Have you ever, you must have spent time in hospital, Dan, maybe when you were younger.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe anyone that's listening, I always say, even though hospital was pants, because normally you're getting cut open and it's going to be pain involved, or it's just not going to be pleasant. But equally, I kind of liked hospital. Because I used to get like jelly and ice cream every night, right? And in a kid's hospital, you get to play with toys that you don't have at home. Great. But also, there is a sense of no one can demand anything of me. I'm in hospital. Like, no one can be horrible to me. No one can ask me to do, homework. No one can ask me to, get that deadline sorted. There's this almost like a calmness because you've taken yourself out of the daily struggles, and you've got nurses that are there for you. You've got, more support network. So I feel like that's what lockdown has been like for me. I've all of a sudden been in this bubble and had the support network of my family, and going back to being independent, which is great because I love being independent, but it's scaring me at the moment.
Well, I guess it all kind of boils down to what we talk about often on the podcast, which is the social model of disability, and the fact that where at the moment you're in a place where everything's accessible to you, you've got all the support you need, you've got all of that, and it's the fear and the unknown. Although you've got a great support network in London as well, I know I've met many of them and been to your flat and everything else. It's that thing that the support network isn't necessarily as complete or as strong as it is when you're at home.
Absolutely, and I, again, I'm sure people are feeling exactly the same, and we've also, even though we've learned how to work differently, I think it's great that we're able to do Life DowLow'ed live, which is fantastic. It brings a different element to it, and I know that a lot of people that maybe were denied, kind of be partaking in activities or being employed are now, able to say, hang on a minute, we can definitely work remotely. But I think there's that worry, I suppose, that if once lockdown is completely over and we kind of go back to normality, if we do adopt some of these new methods, which I think is great, my concern is, will that actually stunt the growth of inclusion and diversity? Because if someone turns around and says, yeah, but you can work remotely, so you don't need to come to our group meeting. But actually, there's something quite valuable about being invited to that group meeting and being able to participate. So I think that, it throws up all these new kind of questions and concerns, because I'm sure, I've got a very good agent who listens to me and definitely takes my lead with anything that I'm involved with. But I'm sure there will be certain projects that now will be offered up to me. Oh, why don't you just do it at home? Or you can just do that on a Zoom. And although a lot of my anxiety and triggers for depression and things come from things like having to take public transport, having to go to a building that I've never been before, and thinking, oh my God, is it accessible? Because you know what it's like. You get the call, you're on the call, and it's like, are you sure it's accessible? Are you sure? Yeah, it is. You get there, there's literally like 5 steps into the bloody office. So all that kind of really adds to it. But once I'm there and I feel like I'm part of a group, or I'm in front of 100, 1,000 people delivering a keynote, that for me is where I literally get my kicks.
Yeah.
That's like endorphins. So it's even that's concerning me at the moment. Like where are we going to get this happy medium? Do you think I'm? What do you reckon?
But I think that's what it's about, isn't it? Is the fact that it is about achieving the balance.
Yeah.
The world has seen now that people can work remotely, which is great, and it should definitely now be more of an option than it ever has been. End of. But that doesn't mean that it should become the only option for disabled people. The only option for anybody. It should be part of without wanting to sound too much like a politician, it needs to be part of the toolkit that companies, businesses, society uses to make sure that whatever your situation is, you have every opportunity open to you to be part of the process, the conversation, the event, whatever that may be. And you see, this is the joy of being live. Aaron's just said in the comments that Keir Starmer has just raised about issues about disabled people in Prime Minister's questions. Right.
Damn it, Janet! That Keir, eliminate.
Keir Starmer.
How dare he? I kind of fancy him. Is that weird?
You fancy Keir Starmer?
I feel like I did. I feel like I saw him the other day. I was like, oh, maybe it's lockdown.
Maybe. I mean, some might argue he's got a bit of a silver fox thing going on. Does
anyone agree with me? Please say that you agree with me.
Does anybody that's watching fancy Keir Starmer?
I can't even take it back because it's live.
No, you can't. It's live and it's being recorded for posterity.
I feel really upset now.
No, I can see that though. He's a put together bloke. He's an intelligent bloke.
I like my older men. I like people that are assertive.
Yeah, and he's a barrister, so
winning.
Yeah, winning. as well as leader of the Labour Party.
I'm sticking to it. I'm not taking that back. I think he's cute.
Yeah, fair enough. You've heard it here first. Life DowNLow'ed, 3rd of June, 2020.
Yeah.
Sam fancies Keir Starmer. Rachel said there is something about him in the comments.
Oh, thank God. I love you, Rachel. Thank you, Rachel.
Look at that sigh of relief. That was a beautiful sigh of relief.
I know. I'll give you a tenner later, Rachel. Don't worry. Thanks.
Aaron says it's better than liking Boris. So.
Oh yeah, well, do you know what? Yes, you are 100% right. So it could get a lot worse. Poor Boris, bless him, he gets a lot of stick, doesn't he? So I wanted to actually talk to you about something that we've mentioned in our previous Life DowNLow'ed podcast, is that just before lockdown, I was about to embark on a journey of cognitive behavioural therapy. I don't know whether you remember
you telling me. Yeah.
So I had my and I can never say this word, preliminary. Is that right?
Preliminary. Yep. You're
Yay! Say it 3 times fast. No.
Preliminary.
Oh, winning! Gold star for you. So I was about to start. This has been something that I've been meaning to do for some time. I do struggle with anxiety. I have had moments of depression, and like a lot of us, I procrastinated and I put it off. And I tried counselling, but I tried it. I didn't get the right counsellor anyway. So I felt really liberated after my first consultant consultancy. So an hour, really got, just, I thought, my goodness, I'm actually making steps towards a better well-being and better mental health for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously pandemic came along, and I got a message from my GP saying, sorry, all services are suspended, which actually blew my mind, because given the fact that more people are experiencing mental health concerns right now, the fact that my GP or the services were completely stopped was a little bit worrying. Anyway, that's another kind of whole another issue. But they messaged me and they said we can start doing them again, and they gave me some options, and I decided to go for four sessions or telephone sessions, and it was really interesting. Now I've only had the one session, and it's interesting for one because I'm not in London, and a lot of my anxiety comes from being in London and having to do things independently. So actually, I've been quite chilled in lockdown, as for the reasons we mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
But it was really quite interesting because I'm sure cognitive behavioural therapy will help me in some way, and it's wonderful for some people. But this is why I think that we need more therapists or mental health professionals who actually have disabilities, because I genuinely found, talking to this gentleman, that when I was raising some of my concerns, particularly about having, brittle bones and a lot of the anxiety that comes from that, when he was paraphrasing, God bless him, he was equating my fear of breaking a bone, which I've had over 200, so I don't find it an irrational fear, to someone worrying about having a plane crash. So I don't know whether I'm going to really struggle. I'm obviously going to use the tools, but I definitely think that moving forward, I would love to have someone who can empathize and who doesn't have any of these unconscious bias, and who doesn't see disability in a certain way, or who can kind of relate a little bit. Is anyone who's listening, has anyone experienced any counselling? Does anyone know of any counsellors that have disabilities? And would that be an issue for you? Have you found that counsellors just don't really get disability, and that can be quite problematic?
Aaron says he's done some counselling, but his was very much Carl Rogers and person-centred.
Okay, cool.
Corinne is being very kind on Periscope, where we're streaming. We're getting super hearts, which means they really love it.
I love hearts.
On Periscope.
I'm going to try and do that, but I've got a really weird, dodgy little finger. It doesn't do it properly. I've got really bendy fingers.
Yeah.
So I just can't do it.
See, I've just not got the dexterity. Look, maybe.
Both rub it. Oh, you can do it like that. Can I do it like that? Is that good enough?
There you go.
Yours is better than mine. Okay. Anyway,
getting back to counselling.
So yeah, I know. So back to counselling. So I am totally the person that goes, no, I know best, and I'm just going to give it up. So I definitely need to kind of put my ego to one side and sit back and listen to what they're wanting me to do, and really try and implement them in my life. But yeah, it's difficult when you're bearing your soul, or you're being very, very open to a stranger who just doesn't seem to get it.
Doesn't quite get it. Yeah, no.
Doesn't quite get it.
And I can appreciate that for sure. Like, it's the whole thing of lived experience, and it being, as much as, people try and do what they can and try and understand, sometimes that lived experience is invaluable. And it's why disabled people talk about the disabled community, because we all have that lived experience. Yes, our experience is all slightly different because we've all got different impairments. Like I've never broken a bone, touch wood.
Right, rub it in.
No, but
What?
I
Not
have
a
cracked my head
competition,
open
Dan.
4 times.
Not a competition.
I've cracked my head open 4 times. So, maybe that's it. But I can appreciate, because I still, am looking at places going, am I going to fall on my ass on a regular basis?
Yeah.
So the experience is personal and different, but that shared understanding is what makes it valid. And it's that whole thing throughout society, isn't it? I mean, we were talking about disabled people giving their lived experience to making the world more accessible. It's all about lived experience and getting those people with that lived experience in whatever role it may be, whether it be therapy, whether it be trying to sort out making transport greener and social distancing in this new world that we're in, and making things more accessible. It's just about pulling on people's lived experience all the way around. I mean, I had some therapy when I was a teenager, and I was very mainly because of needle phobia. Still the biggest needle phobic on the planet. But while I was there, also dealt with a bunch of other stuff that's probably made me a more rounded guy overall.
Yeah.
So, anybody that goes, therapy. No, there's uses for everyone.
Oh no, completely. I'm not poo-pooing on therapy. I think it's great. I've had it in the past. There's certainly been people that have therapists that have warmed to more, or have got me a little bit more. But I think you know what? I think because I'm a little bit more aware of, as a campaigner, and yourself, we're just a bit more aware of injustices. I can't speak today.
Injustices.
There we go. What the heck is wrong with me? Don't answer that. But I'm a lot more aware. I think prior to being a campaigner, I kind of just shut up and put up. And when people were kind of, like these little microaggressions or these little digs or these kind of very ableist views came my way, I probably didn't even register them. And if I did, I just was like, oh, okay. But I think now I'm a bit older, and I'm just a bit self-aware, and I also talk a lot more with people from the community, and I hear, what they go through daily. I think this is for me, this is why I would really like a counsellor or a therapist that has some kind of understanding on a deeper level. I mean, a friend of the family who's a psychotherapist, just randomly chatting the other day, and I've got 15 hours personal assistant time.
Yeah.
And you know what it's like. So when I don't have a fracture, I'm pretty self-sufficient. The only two things I really struggle with is making my bed. Like, it's really hilarious. I should film it one day, me trying to make my bed. I literally have to crawl into the duvet and hard work, and take my bins out, because my bins are downstairs in a very obscure place. I can pretty much do most things, but my PA definitely helps alleviate just the stresses and the worries. When I've got a fracture, I'm like a baby, or I need pretty much everything doing for me. But we all know, if I were to write on a piece of paper when I'm applying for a PA, I'm fine most of the time. But when I'm broken, which could be any day, I need more care. You know what it's like. They'll be like, no, not disabled enough. Let's move on. So I get 15 hours, and I was explaining this to this psychotherapist. She went, yeah, but you definitely need more, though. It's not enough. You definitely need more. And I thought, gosh, how do you know I need more? Actually, for me, as it stands, probably don't need, if I'm not broken, probably don't need 15 hours. I hope no one from DWP are watching this.
No.
That's like my direct payments cut.
No, but the thing is, you do, and and I'm not saying that somebody that doesn't have the lived experience can't empathise and can't understand, but it's the case of, generally, it's like when I argue for, sorry, I'm on a different thought process, but it's like when I'm doing equality stuff for acting work. You can employ a disabled actor to play a disabled character, or you can employ a non-disabled actor to play a disabled character. Now, that non-disabled actor will do everything they can, hopefully, to try and make it as an authentic portrayal as possible. However, you can save yourself 6 months of work by employing the disabled actor in the first place, who can then just concentrate on giving the best performance in terms of character, because they don't have to figure out how the impairment works as well.
I completely agree.
And it doesn't mean that non-disabled counsellors or non-disabled people can't do a good job and be good allies, but if you've got somebody with lived experience, you cut your workload in half.
Completely.
And that's basically what it boils down to.
And gives that authenticity. And being authentic across the board, whether it's acting, whether it's giving support, is actually really quite invaluable. So if anyone knows of any therapists that have a disability or think that would definitely get me, drop it in the inbox.
Drop it in the inbox, tweet us, email us on lifedowlowed.com.
I will let everyone know how I get on, and I promise that I will put my ego to one side and I won't judge too much, and I will do my homework. I'll do my little diary that I'm supposed to be doing, which is strange. And I will keep you all up to date, because I do believe that, the first step is actually getting the help, and I'm grateful that the help is available to me on the NHS. That's absolutely wonderful to have. So I'm not kind of devaluing that whatsoever, but it's an interesting topic, and it's something that I would love to maybe look into a little bit more. You mentioned the word ally, Dan, and I've been doing quite a lot of interviews as of late because I'm so popular, and a lot of people ask what would make a good ally to someone specifically with a disability. Have you got if there's anyone that's tuning in that is non-disabled, how can they be a good ally to people with impairment?
First point, listen. It's that simple. Listen, and don't listen and pay lip service and go, yeah, but actually listen. And when deaf and disabled people tell you, look, this is really good, keep doing it. Sorry, Spider-Man on my desk making random noise. But when, the disabled person goes, this is really good, keep doing it, or this is a bit shit, don't do it that way, try doing it this way. Listen. It's not about personal attacks. It's not about, you're doing it wrong, da-da-da-da-da-da. But you can be a better ally if you listen, flat out.
Completely. I completely agree, and I think not being offended if someone says that, you might be being a bit ableist or you've used the wrong terminology. It's not about shaming you. It's not about making you feel bad. Heck, we all do it. Yep. I've made mistakes. I used to use wheelchair bound all the time until someone pointed it out to me. And as soon as they, cleared it up for me, I was like, okay, but I have to admit, right at the beginning, like my ego was a little bit like, oh, how dare they tell me what to do? But when now I'm all about proper language and, respecting people's choice to use correct language. So I think, that's definitely one way to be an ally. And I also think, particularly now we're in lockdown, some of us are still actually adhering to the rules, so to speak.
Me over here, hi.
And now is the time, as we've got maybe a little bit more free time or spare time on our hands, is to actually, learn about other minority groups, and that's across the board. Follow someone on Instagram that maybe has a disability. I think one of the things I'm actually, loving is I've made lots of lockdown buddies. People that are
lockdown friends.
Yeah, lockdown friend. And a number of them with a variety of impairments, and it's been it's been great for me as well, because I feel like my eyes are opening, because I'm learning all the time. So I think use your time wisely and educate yourself. I don't think anyone can. There's no excuse to be ignorant anymore. I genuinely believe that. I think we live in a world where information is at our fingertips. A lot of us have smartphones. Okay, not everyone, but a lot of us do. And when you're on that underground tube station, on the commute to work again, you know, um, maybe Google my name and look at all my Metro articles. There are 3-minute reads,
And they
and
put
maybe
you down solid, to be fair.
exactly you might learn something. So I think that's important. I think it's important that we're coming together at the moment, because I genuinely feel a little bit disheartened at the moment when I am seeing a lot of people, not all, but I am seeing a lot of people just blatantly going back to normality. Some are doing it because they believe, the economy is more important. Some people are coming from a place of ignorance, but that actually makes me feel quite vulnerable in many ways. Like I don't have allies that don't actually care about my needs or the needs of other people that are in the same boat. Have we got any questions there, Dan?
I'm looking at the comments on the screen, which is why I'm sort of looking away. We've had quite a few. Aaron says he hates the term wheelchair bound. It makes his skin crawl. Corinne says it's okay not to feel okay. Adam Pearson, the lovely Adam Pearson, has popped in to say hello. And as always, he heightens the level of debate by going, "What's your favourite bear? I like pandas." So, Sam, what is your favourite bear?
That's really hard. I like pandas too. Care Bears.
Care Bears. Care Bears are a good shout. I personally think if I was to choose a bear, it could possibly be the polar bear. The polar bear is my favourite bear.
But they could kill you. They're like cute, but they're lethal. Like, at least you could cuddle a panda.
You could cuddle. Well, I don't know. Could you cuddle a panda? Maybe that's.
Yeah, see it all the time in the zoo.
But yeah, I think I'm a polar bear fan.
Thanks, Adam, for that. That really helped our really highbrow
conversation. It did.
Just diminished our live chat to
But
simplistic form.
We do keep an eye on the comments. I mean, the lovely Kelly's back, and she's been saying that she's got concerns earlier because we were talking about kids going back to school, and she says her daughter's going to nursery, and she's got concerns about that. So, I think the feelings are all over the place, but in that important worldly debate of favourite bears, Adam now says, "Thank you. Polar bears are the largest carnivore. Good decision." Thank you, Adam. I'm glad you appreciate my bear choice.
What about my bear choice?
What, the Care Bears?
Yeah.
The thing is, can you remember the name of any of the Care Bears?
No.
Adam, I know you'll know. Adam doesn't
I don't even know if I had one.
Care Bears.
I don't even know if I had one.
There was a sunshine bear. I'm pretty sure there was a sunshine bear.
We didn't. My dad was an antique dealer, so we didn't get like all the news, the new stuff. It was like, here, have like a bear that smells like it's been in someone's attic for 5 years. I'm not even joking.
Go on, Aaron. Name us some Care Bears. You work at Hamleys. Tender Heart Bear, Love a Lot Bear, Sunshine Bear. Everybody's naming Care Bears right now.
If people are just tuning in now, this is just like, I might as well just give up my career.
Is there a Funshine and a Sunshine Bear? Are they two different bears, Aaron? Fill the gap for me.
Come on, Aaron. No pressure. No pressure. Get Googling.
But yeah, Rachel says there's a Tender Heart Bear, a Love a Lot Bear, a Sunshine Bear.
Can you still get them?
Well, Aaron works at Hamleys right now, and he's naming the bears. So
Aaron, do you get a discount?
I think we've established that Sam wants a Care Bear.
Oh, anything. I love like toys just in general. That came out wrong. I like teddy bears.
Hey, Ayrshire welcome from Glasgow. How is it up there?
Darling, tell him that. You've joined at the worst time ever. We were having a really, thought-provoking conversation, and now we're talking about Care Bears. So you might as well just like leave now, because it's probably not going to get any better, unless you really like Care Bears.
Adam says that didn't come out wrong at all, Sam.
All right, Adam, you keep it in your hands.
Aaron says they've had him at Hamleys for 35 years since they've debuted. So there you go.
Impressive. I could do with some Sylvanian family as well, though. Quite like that.
Sylvanian families. That's going back a bit. Victoria on Facebook says there are Care Bear cousins too, like lions and stuff. See, I'm learning right now.
Mind is blown.
Build-A-Bear did Care Bears apparently as well.
They're overpriced though, Build-A-Bear. Sorry.
Controversial. Controversial.
I've never had one.
As a 35-year-old man, I am comfortable saying I am a fan of Marvel Build-A-Bears.
All right.
It's true.
All right. Right, but I've already said that I fancy Keir Starmer, so there you go.
That's it. I mean, you're learning it all today, people.
I feel quite sad that we're...
Dan likes Marvel Build-A-Bears. Sam fancies Keir Starmer and wants a Care Bear. Sylvanian families are Aaron's favourite toys. He's with
Aaron,
you on that.
put some in your handbag when you're back at work. Send me some freebies.
Send you some freebies.
Be serious.
Oh, I know you are. But yeah, so
how are we going to bring it round to some sort of decent closure now? Because let's face it, I feel like the energy's gone. It's just been.
Ayrshire says he loves Care Bears. Who doesn't? So he's happy to join right now.
Gosh. What? I don't know. Right, I'm going to leave now. So.
See, but this is what you get from Life DowLow'ed.
I don't know whether I like it,
in-depth conversation.
Oh, and also, I don't know how to turn off my emails. How do you do that?
Turn them off?
Yeah, because they keep coming at the top.
Oh, Aaron says he's going to send you some pictures, possibly of Care Bears. I don't know.
What else do I like? What else do I used to play with? Polly Pocket. Used to love that.
See, I had the boys' version, Mighty Max. I had the boys' version.
Are you joking? There was a boys' version?
Well, very similar. Same concept, but they were adventure places, so they had dinosaurs and zombies and.
That is quite. That's I like that. I like
Mighty
that.
Max, they were called.
Mighty Max. We used to have that, and I used to have these things called Coca-Cola Kids, and they were like soft dolls. They were very rare. I've dug out all my old toys. I love it. Obviously, a bit of Lego.
See, Adam has met Aaron in Build-A-Bear in Hamleys. See, we're connecting the world right now.
The world, I don't really think so. I think that was a stretch. That was an absolute stretch. What was I going to say? I would love to hear what people would like us to maybe talk about.
Toys, apparently.
I'm not doing it anymore if we're just talking about this. So, me and the Life DowLow'ed team, we have been trying to get some lovely guests, but our schedules just haven't collided. It's quite tricky trying to juggle everybody, which is fine. And I'm sure that you're all happy with just both of us prattling on for an hour, old school. But please let us know if there's anything that you would want us to talk about, if we can maybe give our own advice on a subject that maybe is challenging for you. I think that's I get a lot out of hearing what people really want, because it's although me and Dan enjoy doing this and it's a good crack and we're really good friends, I think it is a platform for good, and that's why we set it up. We wanted to share information, we wanted to be a support network for people not just within the disability community, but for everyone. Oh, my laptop's wobbling. So please, DM us, and we'll definitely try and answer your questions.
Indeed.
Or topics.
I'll tell you what, Adam, for next episode, because he's in the comments again, would you like me, assuming that we're still doing the live version, to have a bear of the podcast? Would that make you happy?
We have to get a bear now.
I'll put a bear on screen.
Hang on, I can get one. Wait.
Hang on. Here we go. Look. Because it's as if I came prepared. Hey Chris, how you doing? Look, there you go. Polar bear on Life DowLow'ed. Because it's as if I came prepared. This is the famous bird's eye. I think it was bird's eye. Was it bird's eye? Yes, bird's eye polar bear.
There you go. Ah.
There you go. Bears on Life DowLow'ed.
Bears. Not weird at all.
So we need a bear of the week and a fact about that bear on the next podcast for Adam.
Bear of the week. No pressure. I think I've got a polar bear downstairs. I think so. I'm going to have to find it. I've got a big penguin round the corner.
Of course you do. That was a phrase I didn't think I'd hear today. Big penguin round the corner.
I'm styling it out with a bear. Right, on that note, because again, I need a wee, and also I do actually have another meeting to go to because I'm very important and very popular.
You are.
I am. It's lovely to see that your hair has grown.
Massively, yes.
My hair has grown a lot. Thank you for everyone for joining us because you make it way much more funner. Way much more funner.
That was beautiful command of the English language.
You wouldn't have thought I've got a postgrad or anything like that. Like that was 5 years of good learning.
Yeah, it was.
Good. I'm not in debt at all. It's been fantastic. Thank you so much, and please stay in contact and let us know if there's anything that you want answering or just for us to chat about. And I'll manage to turn off my
email.
Yeah, my notifications. So thank you. I have been Samantha Rank.
I, as always, am Dan Edge. For those of you that want to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, at Life DowLow'ed, it's on the screen right now. Follow us all. If you want us to talk about stuff, drop us a message. Keep in touch. We'll probably do a next episode in about a week or so. This will get edited and put on the podcast side of things when I get time to do it. And yeah, we'll see you all next episode, guys. Hope you've had a good one. We'll even have a bear for Adam. I know he'll tune in especially. But take care of yourselves, look after yourselves, and we'll see you all soon. Bye. See you later, everybody.